I had to suck it up, so I think dry cleaning is included with these rentals, so we're gonna try this. First of all, happy wedding day to all of you. For most people in most places, today is another very ordinary day. People doing what ordinary people do. It's just another Sunday afternoon to be followed by another ordinary week. For two ordinary people today is far from another Sunday afternoon. And for two families, today is amazingly extraordinary. My gratitude and thanks to all of you for being here and joining us as we celebrate today with Sarah and with Josh. 25 years ago, Sharon and I and our sons Dennis and Jason were eagerly preparing for and awaiting the arrival of a new addition to our family. In November of 1989, Sarah became that addition. I don't know how other fathers feel when they see their baby daughter for the first time. I'm sure that's not even something fathers talk out loud about. What I can tell you is that, at least for this father, that first meeting was a mixture of, okay, now what do I do with a girl? Combined with, okay, world, I dare you to do one thing to my daughter. In those first moments of her life, aside from the woman who gave me this gift, I don't know that I have ever seen anyone more beautiful. At that point in my life, I was 2 sons deep into fatherhood. But Dennis and Jason, in case you don't remember or didn't know this, I was just as filled with awe and pride as the two of you were born. Ask anyone stuck in my path that politely endured my bragging and recounts of the adventures of my wonder kids. What you need to understand is that there is no difference between the amount of love that I have for you compared to your sister. I love each of you as much as possible for a father to do. What is hard to explain or understand is that all of you are different, and so what makes up my love for you is unique for each of you. So taking on fatherhood when you guys came along was cool. I have a son. Yeah, really cool. Let's do this. See, I knew what to do with sons. You do guy stuff. I knew what to expect with boys. You get bugs and dirt and boogers and toys that you know how to play with. I knew how the clothes work, and if you couldn't fix the hair with a little bit of spit in the comb, then you just cut it off. I knew that when you change a boy's diaper, you might want to stay out of the line of fire. Even though I always told your mother it didn't matter a girl or a boy, when the delivery room nurse handed your sister to me and said, "Here's your little girl, Daddy." And Mom and I took all this in, and running through our minds was a little girl. I really hope I don't screw this up. From the first moment, being a daddy to my little girl was different than being my son's dad. So Sarah came home and we settled in, and the days and the weeks and the months go by. I made a few discoveries along the way. I found out that there are a lot of things the same about raising girls and boys. I found out also that girls find dirt and have boogers. A few girls' toys are simple enough that even the guys can play with them. And I firmly believe that the hooks and snaps on Barbie clothes were invented by a woman. No man would ever make something so crazy small. Well, I managed to stay dry during the diaper changes for 2 boys. It was actually girl diaper changing that I should have been paying more attention to. Other things turned out to be every bit the opposite of what I thought they would be. To this day, I cannot get a ponytail to end up in the right place, and I don't know how to put on a hair tie without getting my finger caught in there. Before I forget, any of you are the ones who invented no more tangles? Thank you. I also learned that a girl's mom will say things like, "Start brushing at the ends." "No, not like that. Just give me the brush." Or, "That dress does not match those tights. I'll get it dressed." I learned that a boy needs a pair of good shoes and a couple of pairs of sneakers. But a girl needs lots of shoes and lots of colors and lots of styles, because that's what a girl needs. I learned that brothers and sisters sometimes get along really well. Sometimes they barely know the other exists, and sometimes you just wish you had a bigger house. Most of you already know this, but I found out that kids grow up. We went through potty training and chicken pox and learning how to use scissors on the front of hair or on the bedspread that Grandma made us for our wedding. When Shay came into our lives in 1993, our whole family learned how much closer to perfect life actually is when things aren't perfect. We managed to get through stitches and scrapes, report cards, science fairs, and field trips. We learned to boogie in a way that has nothing to do with boot scooting. that don't tell me how to do this, that you shouldn't have to be told how to do this, but I'm proud of what you did. And all this growing up probably seems like it took years for my kids. Some years probably seem longer than others. I want you to know that those years seem like no time at all to me. Today seems like a good day to let you know a few things, and since you're stuck here anyway, I want you to know your father could not be more proud of his children. I want you to know that I never knew where to find gypsies to sell you to. I want you to know that I remember the good things and the fun times like they just happened, and that other stuff is getting harder to remember every day. I want you to know that I wish I had taken more time when I had the time. I want you to know that I'm sorry for any day in your lives that I didn't let you know who you were to me. I want to focus a bit on Sarah. Since I happen to have the actual title Sarah's dad, I would like to tell you exactly what that means to me. At your birth, from your first cry, from the first time I touched your cheek, and looked at you looking back at me. I always knew you would be my little girl. As we watched you crawl and then walk and then run, eager and curious and adorable, I knew you would always be my little girl. When you went off to elementary school, every day learning about the world outside your home, I knew you would always be my little girl. As the years passed, we watched you grow up, a delightful girl, a great student, a loving big sister, a kid with a stubborn streak that your mom and I could never figure out where it came from. I knew you would always be my little girl. You learned to play soccer, play the flute. You learned to shuffle step just because Ricky was so fine. I knew you would always be mine. Nearly grown, we watched as you explored career possibilities, and we worried about GPA and what school you loved going. And when you noticed boys and didn't want us to know, and worse, when you noticed boys and didn't care if we knew. When you learned to drive, when you were off to Paris, to see Paris without mom and dad, I knew you would always be my little girl. Even when things may have gotten a little heated, we disagreed on a choice that you were making. But when you didn't take my advice that flesh tone ink is the only ink you should ever use for a tattoo. I knew you'd always be my little girl. As we watched you found out that the frogs did not change into a prince, I knew you'd always be my little girl. Again, I don't know how all fathers feel, but I know for me a few things have never changed. Looking at you today, Sarah, and looking at your mother here with you, I've never seen anything more beautiful in my eyes. In the world, I dare you to do one thing to my daughter. The day I met you until the day I'm gone, you will always be my little girl. When you decided that auto mechanic school was what you wanted to do, we questioned that idea, wondering how that could possibly be the best choice for you. Parental, I know. You began the educational process, so we began the adjustment process. I've always thought that no matter what you want to do when you graduate, or what you end up doing in your life, that you need to get something for your trouble, something that stays with you and makes your life better. You need something for your education that lasts. Isn't it funny how in life, you're done with school, you have a new job with exciting potential, and who knew that that you're no matter, or you're something that lasts, will be standing next to you today, all dressed up and shiny, with hair on his head and on his face. It looks like the two of you have an incredible ability to pick life partners. There are a few people here today that I need to thank for everything that they've done to help make this celebration happen. I promise I'll do that, but right now I need to say some things to Sarah's mother. Sharon, there's so many things running through my mind today. You just sat through some of it. There's one single thing that seems part of every thought. This day would not be what it is and what it means without you. I think each of us has pictured in our minds what today would be like. From the day that Sarah was born. Although I don't remember ever actually talking to you about it. In hindsight, we should have and saved ourselves some stress in the past. When I look at our daughter today, here to proclaim her love for the man she's chosen to see you. When I see her abilities, I see what you've taught her growing up. When I see her love and protectiveness for her sister, I think that that's not a mother's daughter. There may be a trait or two more that the two of you share, and as beautiful and endearing as they are, we only have the chapel for a limited time. But I want you to know that my confidence in my daughter comes in large part from seeing you raising her for 24 years, and dealing with everything that came our way in our lives and brought us to this day. Sharon, you're my best friend, my partner, my anchor, my safe harbor, and the best thing that ever happened to me. I thank you from the bottom of my heart for your love and our children and our family. For the beautiful past we've had together before our own halfway ever after. I love you, and I probably have you as my brother. 24 years sounds like a long time. Sarah, today I ask that you do one thing for me. I want you to do one thing every day. Take a minute or two to celebrate and remember today. After this day is done and the ordinary day is starting again, don't forget that what it was that made today extraordinary. Take a moment to celebrate that you are the daughter of your mother and I. Celebrate that you are a sister to Dennis and Jason and Shay. Celebrate that you are part of a family of grandparents and aunts and uncles and cousins and friends. Celebrate that on this day you were surrounded by all of us, because it's where we all needed and wanted to be. Every day, celebrate the man standing beside you. Standing there not because he does everything perfect, and not because you are perfect, and not because you just can't live without each other, but because it's where you belong, taking care of each other, loving each other in spite of imperfections. Remember that the ordinary days are really easy to let pass almost unnoticed. In each ordinary day, something worth remembering can happen. Don't miss a day. Seems like each year gets shorter and shorter, and we are really here for just a flicker. What I wouldn't give on some days to be able to go back and not change things in the past, but just have that moment one more time. I wish I had celebrated every day, and I hope hindsight can be my wedding gift to you. Josh, probably deserve a mention here as well. You've been sitting there for the last few minutes listening to all this, and I hope you have a very clear picture in your mind of who Sarah is and what she means to us. Today, her mom and I are supposed to be giving her to you, but we can't give what has never been ours to give. Today, we are here to offer our blessings and our support, and our friendship and our love, as she gives herself to you, and you to her. Don't ever forget that she's my little girl. I'm letting go of her today. When I look at her, I hope you see what I always have. The most beautiful things your eyes can see. When you hold her hand, I hope you get the same feeling of protectiveness that I always have. Today, while I can give you my daughter, I give you a part of my life and my soul. Take care of her. Not like I have, but better than I ever could. I'm proud of the decision Sarah has made of you, and I'm happy that you've chosen her. Everything I could possibly wish for the two of you I have. We are proud and honored in calling you now our son. Never forget that. And while you two may now have your own family, your own home, and a new and exciting life, our house is still your home. Dinners around 6, and the advice, as always, is